who are supportive of Israel. I don't know what his management experience is regarding the Pentagon, little if any. So I think it's an incredibly controversial choice.
Would Hagel survive a Senate hearing if he gets tapped for defense secretary? Let's bring in our political panel, Ron Bonjean, former communications director to Speaker Hastert, and Margie Omero, Democratic pollster and president of Momentum Analysis. Great to see both of you.
Good afternoon.
Great to see you.
Margie, it seems like both sides of the aisle agree that Senator Hagel can get a fair hearing, but why is he the best choice from a Democrat's point of view?
Well, I think he's a strong choice from a really united American point of view. He earned 2 Purple Hearts. He is a Republican senator who has not been part of the partisan bickering that people now really have grown to hate here. He has been endorsed by 5 former ambassadors to Israel. He voted for $40 billion in aid to Israel. He's been endorsed by 4 former national security advisors, and all of those folks who have been appointed by both Republican and Democratic administrations. So I think he's a really strong pick that it would make sense for people to really come together and confirm.
Do you think he was the president's first choice, Margie?
Well, I think certainly he's always been a key pick, and he's also someone that the president has been working closely with on a variety of boards and commissions now for a while. So I think it's someone that he's had a real relationship with.
He has been an advisor, Ron, but the questions keep coming up about his positions on Israel, which is so key and critical right now. I've heard a number of government officials from Israel express at least concern over not knowing what his position would be on Israel now. Do you think it's clear?
I don't. I think he's going to have a roller coaster ride of a confirmation. I think it's going to be a big fight for the Obama administration to get him through, because there are bipartisan concerns over his stances on Israel, over his weak stance on Iran, over the fact that he wants to recognize Hezbollah as a state, the fact that he has made comments regarding Hamas, that we have to have talks with Hamas. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And you know what's interesting is how quiet the Democrats. What's interesting is how quiet Senate Democrats are. Senator Chuck Schumer, avid pro-Israel senator, Democratic Senate Foreign Relations Chairman Robert Menendez. You don't hear anything from him right now. You're going to have a number of Democrats in the Senate who are not going to like this, who are not necessarily going to come to the defense of Chuck Hagel. At the same time, Republicans are going to be asking the hard questions. I think this is going to be a very tough fight for him.
Margie, what about from a defense point of view? The questions that are being asked about his ability to manage the Pentagon. It is a huge task at a critical time. In a way, it kind of seems a shame that Leon Panetta would have to leave right now, as we're making plans to withdraw from Afghanistan and we're facing challenges with Iran and other countries. What is it that Chuck Hagel's been doing over the last couple of years specifically that prepares him for that?
Well, remember, too, before he was in the Senate, he was a successful business person. I mean, he's someone who's had a long history in defense and in the military and support for veterans. He also wants to cut bloated government spending, which is something that everyone can support. And it really says something about the tone of the Senate today, that someone with Hagel's experience is seen as an in-your-face, extreme fringe pick, that someone would even use that phrase when the Republicans now have been the party of Aiken and Murdoch, which voters have really clearly rejected as extreme and fringe. So I think as people learn more about Chuck Hagel, they'll really see the breadth of his experience and how that's really going to be a good asset.
Ron, I can't give an opinion about whether it's relevant or not, but we know that during his first term, the president didn't visit Israel. Do you know if Chuck Hagel has?
I don't know if he has or not, and I do think that's a valid point about his management experience. In addition to that, I think it's fascinating the Obama administration is now picking another former senator over to the defense side of the cabinet. You now have President Obama from the Senate, Vice President Biden, former senator, you have Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, former senators, and now you have Senator Chuck Hagel. I think that's very dangerous just to have one world view in the administration when it deals with our defense policies. Why not have someone like a Robert Gates, someone who knows how to run things, someone who had a different view, who came from a different background, but knew how to manage things and served in the administration with distinction.
Let me let Margie in here.
Margie, I think there's more. Yeah.
Quickly, I'll let you have your thought, but I assume even a corporate CEO that comes in wants a team that basically shares the views. Have you found that to be historically the way President Obama operates?
Well, I think there are a few things. First, I think there's a lot more to the point of view and worldview of John Kerry, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Hagel, and Barack Obama than the fact that they were in the Senate. I mean, and there's a lot more to their personal experience. And remember that Gates and Biden did not want Obama. They recommended against Obama making the call on Osama bin Laden. He made that call regardless. So I think Obama has had people around him who sometimes he disagrees with, sometimes he agrees with, but ultimately he makes the call. He's the president.
Okay, quickly before we go, just a yes or no answer. Does he pass confirmation if he's brought up? Margie?
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does.
Ron?
I don't think so. He's already apologizing already and hasn't been nominated.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Greg?
Lance